Good morning, good Friday morning here. It's about 9:15 a.m. This is the monitor that, well, it's wedged in here on the top of the case. This is a color monitor, Texas Instruments. I had it way back when we used to have the screen house and we show our slideshows on. It's a color monitor, works very well, decent bright picture. It's going to the ham auction. It's taking up a lot of room in the shop. I have a box of stuff here, and there's going to be more added to it. These are television tubes, 6 PK4s and horizontal output tube stuff, and the 807 down there, and the Simpson 269 with the bad meter movement. When I give stuff to the ham auction, these are donations, and even though the meter is shot on that Simpson, nonetheless, people can use the knobs, the case, the glass is good, the dial is in excellent shape. So I mean, these are things that the guys can use. I donate this stuff. And the same with this monitor here. I mean, if for some strange reason it goes for $20, it goes to the club, you know. But stuff like this ain't going to get any draw at all. And unfortunately, you either take it back with you or you leave the auction early and turn your back on it when it goes into the dumpster, because that's what they do. When the auction is over and whatever don't sell, and it's club donation, most of the time it goes in the dumpster. We have a beautiful day today. That storm is passing well east of us, and we're going to get a little bit of wind out of it, nothing much according to the weather guesses this morning. We're waiting for the 11 o'clock report. So I guess Cape Cod may get some tropical storm winds from it, but not us. So we're supposed to have a very good weekend. We may get some rain tonight and perhaps early Saturday morning, but there hasn't been any yard sales anyways. Last Saturday there was 2 yard sales, and all they had is kids crap and dishes and toasters and knickknacks and junk like that. So this year has been terrible, like it's been almost every year for the last 4 or 5 years or more, with the exception of a special yard sale which occasionally we run into. So Jewett City is the place to go, and it's supposed to be good weather, and if my cash holds out, you know how that is. Tommy and I are planning to go to Jewett City. All right, let's go into the shop. I know it. I know all about it. Don't have to tell me. Getting damn sick and tired of electronic videos. What the heck? What a mess! You can see I got the Knight 600 sitting on the bench with a tube still in it. Of course, it's turned off. The Air O-Ear is sitting in a box right here. I got to order that 12DT8, I believe it is. I got my other box of, my drawer of tubes sitting on the floor here. All right, let's go inside. Now, this is where the drawer was. The one like this, that's on the floor that I just showed you. In order to get more room, I really don't want to get rid of this oscilloscope. It's a storage oscilloscope that I bought at the Jewett City flea market. I believe it was last year for $20. The guy originally, it was sitting there for 6 months and he wanted $50 for it. If I brought this to the ham auction, it weighs a ton, probably weighs about 40, 50 pounds, and it works. I would probably get little or nothing for it, but in order to get room, I would have to get rid of it. I really don't want to get rid of the Navy oscilloscope. I mean, it's unique. It only goes 5 megahertz. You know, this, unfortunately, doesn't go up very high either. And I'll tell you why. Hang on a minute. Because this scope came with two type 3A72 plug-ins. In other words, dual trace amplifiers, one here and one here. That's heat shrink right there. Got to get it out of the way here so you can see this. So, in other words, it does not have a time-based plug-in. And in the darkened area up there, and I saw the scope and I didn't examine it good. I probably would not have bought it if I'd known it had two 3A72 type dual trace amplifiers in them. It's supposed to have one, and the other one is supposed to be, I don't know what's supposed to be in here, it's supposed to be a time-based amplifier, sweep and everything else. So although, yes, it works as storage, see, and everything. But basically, it doesn't go up very high in frequency. It's basically in the audio range. So if I got rid of this, I would have a lot more storage for tubes up here. But I really don't. If I knew I could get at least my money back on this, because this had a special plug in the back of it. It was one of those very expensive type cords. It had a round receptacle. It's not quite like an extension cord would use, and the cord is like $25 or $30 on eBay. So I took and changed the jack on the back to a regular computer type jack, like the computers use, your desktop computers, and used a computer cord on it. So I rewired that. That's the only thing I did to this, and it works very well. It's not plugged in now, so I can't turn it on. So like I say, if I got rid of this monstrosity, I would have some more room in this shop. But I'm thinking about it. But I hate to get rid of something. I like my oscilloscopes, but like I say, you got to draw a line somewhere. All right, so I'm in the process, last night I was, and then I got a phone call from a good friend of mine. So we were chatting on the phone for a while, on the cell phone, Jim Asbell, and we're talking about the Zener diodes and everything else, and we're going to go with the Zener. We're not going to use the Zeners I've got. They're not heavy enough. He's got a couple of 5-watt Zeners, and we're going to go with that. And we're going to put the cord on that Emerson 336 radio, so we'll be getting that up on the bench, and we may even do that and start part 4. But what I got to do is I got to finish up testing tubes, and I still got these 7695s and a 6JT8 that, it's an empty box, that's why it's over there, and a couple more tubes here and there that I got to test. Now down here is the drawer that was up in the empty space I just showed you. There's a 43 here. This is what I have for small tubes. Not all that many. 7 and 9 pin. And then the mixed, mostly the antique tubes, and some 8-pin octal tubes. And let me get some light on here. Alright, I moved the tape recorder down to the bottom. This is a 3-inch rim drive tape recorder I had in my old attic workshop, and the reason I'm hanging on to that, somewhere around, and I can't find it now, it's buried somewhere, I have the original 3-inch recording of my dad's voice made in 1963, about 3 months before he passed on. The summer of 63. My dad passed on in, I believe it was October 20th, 63. So this was like in the summer, June or July of the summer of that year, and the original tape recorder rim drive that his recording was made on was a Lafayette rim drive tape recorder, battery, one of those battery operated things. I think it was in the 1962 Lafayette catalog, if I'm not mistaken. Or to 63, I'm not sure. So that's sitting here because I need to do that. I already transferred his voice from this recorder onto a cassette years ago, and then put the cassette sound into the computer. So I mean, it's all in there, but I still wanted to keep a rim drive. That's what's in that box. Then there's mostly untested tubes from that big box. And these are 7 and 9 pin tubes. There were so many of them left that as I need them, I will test them because it's very time consuming. And then up here, most all these were tested. In fact, every one of them were tested. Yes, all good. Your 41, 6X5, 6A7, 2A5, there's only one of those. 6V6, 6X5, 6J5, 6SA7, 6K7, 75. I only got one of those now. The other two were no good. 6SK7, and so forth. These two 75s were questionable. One was virtually dead, and the other one, the emission was going up and down on it without me doing anything on the Radio City Products 308 tube tester. So I kept these out and off to the side so I can retest them in here. So I retested them in here, and one of them read just a little better in emission, but the diodes were virtually dead in them. So, and the other one was actually no good. Neither one of them was shorted. So, I confirmed that they are no good. I always like to, since I have both kinds of tube testers that will test this, the Radio City Products 308 and the Knight 600, both of those testers will test these old tubes, these 6-pin jobs. So, you don't condemn a tube until you confirm that they are definitely no good. And slightly weak tubes, as one of my viewers had said, I just read the comments this morning, and never condemn a tube. If it's questionable, do not toss it. Well, I agree with that. And if a tube is slightly weak, I won't toss it. If it's dead or just barely moving the needle, or shorted, of course, I toss them. Because a radio can still work with a tube in that condition. There are situations where the radio will work. But these are definitely gone, so unfortunately, they're going to have to get thrown out. On this side, I haven't done anything with it yet. I might take that, it's way in the back, I showed it, show and tell, whatever you call it, that 5-inch color TV VCR combination, and it works very well. I paid $15 for that at a yard sale, about 2 years ago, I guess. I might get rid of that because I need the room in here. And this monitor I'm not going to get rid of. It was given to me by a good friend of mine, and if I need it on my computer desk, it will work on the computer desk. But I got a speaker on each side of my monitor. If I put this up here, it covers up the speakers. The speakers will be in back of this monitor. The speakers have volume controls on them, and there are times that I have to turn the volume down as some videos come blasting in, when you're watching them on YouTube. So that's why I hesitated about putting this up there. It's too big for my computer desk, the way I got things set up. And there's only place I can keep two little speakers is one on each side of the monitor. This thing is way too wide, although it's a nice big screen on it, and I need it for my bad eyes. But as you can see, it's sitting there, and of course I haven't had a chance yet to buy some tape and get that thing out there so I can let that guy know out in San Jose, California. So we'll be doing that eventually. Here is my inspection camera, and I'm going to have to shove that up underneath here yet. So I'm not fully done yet with this. Okay, that's the small eBay frequency counter, a little tiny pocket thing that I got. Then there's other parts mixed in here. And that's a drone right there. And I got the other drone box sitting here. No drone in it. Drone sitting here. Now, as you can see, I shoved two items out into the main shed. So, ideally, it would be nice to have make a wooden, a bunch of drawers, I should say, that I can pull out and put tubes in. But I can't have anything sticking out that bang my knees, because I sit at the bench here. I can't stand at the bench. That's why I got the tube tester sitting up like this, because I can't hunch over the tube tester. My lower back will start killing me, then I'm shot for the day. So I got to sit at the bench and do this. I cannot stand like some guys can work on the bench and stand up all day long. I can't do that. I got to sit down. So my knees have got to go up underneath here, and I got to be close to the bench. One of my viewers, and I couldn't find the comment. I approved the comment, but then when I went to the video, it didn't show up. One of my viewers asked, is this a ground lead here on the top of the cap? No. That's a grid cap. On these type of tubes of this type in the vintage radios, the top cap, this here, is your control grid. This is a grid cap. Now, most tubes, the grid comes out at the bottom on one of the pins. So this is if you don't have this on here when you're checking for emissions, usually it doesn't read. Some of them do, some don't. Like if you're checking the diode portion of a tube that, I'm not saying this is a 6K8, as I recall, that does not have a diode in it. But there are tubes, I believe the 75 has two diodes and a triode, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. So the diode portion, which has two plates in it, in this case, on the 75, it wouldn't matter whether you put this on or not, because this is a grid cap. This connects to the grid. When you're checking a diode, the plate of the diode comes out the bottom like a normal tube would. Okay? So yes, anytime you see this, it's a grid cap. Now, on a horizontal output tube, like a 6BQ6, BG6, these are horizontal output tubes, which are larger in diameter than these. The top cap is a plate cap, just like an 807, in which case that would be the plate. That's where your high voltage would be. Okay? So I hope that clarifies. Anytime you get tube testers got this, that's a grid cap. Although some tubes, like a horizontal output tube, a 6BQ6, may require you to connect this up on the cap, on the top cap, which on a 6BQ6 tube is the plate and not the grid, the settings in here will be set accordingly to connect this to the plate circuit in the tester. Okay. I also had a request for more close-up videos of testing tubes. It's very, very hard. In order for me to get you close, you're going to have my ugly head right in the way, because I got to get down close. All right, I want to touch one base, and one thing more, and this is for Doug, the cardboard man. You know the cardboard man, Doug Moslack. Hi, Doug. Doug, look on your chart for your Knight 600. The 6W4 is listed in this book. It is not listed in this book. Your 25L6 is not listed in this book. It is not listed in this book. So I had to test a 25L6 last night. One of my viewers emailed me and said he was looking for a 25L6 if I had one that I wanted to part with. Come to find out, it was a 35L6 he was looking for. I do not have that. So I emailed him back and told him that I misread his thing, and I thought that he wanted a 25L6. I did have a 25L6. It was not listed in either one of these books, so I had to refer to the roll chart. Thank goodness I got the roll chart, because if I didn't get it there, I would not be able to test the 25L6. So Doug, if you get a chance, look in your books. I think we got the same books, I'm pretty sure. And see if your 25L6 is listed. It is not listed in either one of these. So I had to, it is listed on the good old roll chart. So I went by the roll chart and the tube tested good. Now, a 25L6, to my knowledge, is exactly the same as a 50L6 except for the filament voltage. So you can test a 25L6 if it's not listed as a 50L6. Just turn your filament down to 25 volts or 35 volts. What did I say? 25? Yeah, 25L6. Okay. So I can't get you close here, but believe me, the 25L6 is definitely listed on the roll chart, but it is not listed in even the obsolete tubes and stuff is not listed here. This is your operating instructions. This is the assembly instructions for the Knight 600. And this schematic for the Knight 600, the Knight 600, and then your tube setups. There is no 25L6 listed in this book. 6W4 is not listed in this book. Use the Coltronics book or use the roll chart. So there is a lot of tubes, but no 25L6. This is a boring video, isn't it? Alright, this box here contains 8mm movies, which I'll probably never use, but I'm not bringing this stuff to the ham auction, simply because it's not going to go. Super 8mm. I figure we'll go over that a little bit and show you some of the stuff. This is a brand new DAK projection lamp, 500 watt. This is a Hoya UV filter. When I had my 35mm cameras, I had all these filters and stuff for him. His 8mm highlight reel. Am I in camera? Probably not. I have a bad habit of looking at the item and not looking at the viewfinder. Here's another one, Super 8. I have no use for these. I had them for many, many, many years. And watched them when I had movie projectors. A lot of these things I might have gotten at yard sales, most likely. Star Wars I definitely did not buy. I never cared for Star Wars. Star Trek or anything else, never cared for that stuff at all. It did not appeal to me. And lens paper. So these are items that were left over from my film days, and these were originally stored in the my photo room at the house on Broad Street in New London, the one with the attic workshop. Well, on the second floor where we lived, out in the hallway, I built a closet, and I called it my photo closet, and I had two 35mm Sawyer sound slide projectors. I had 3 different movie projectors. I had a 16mm Bell & Howell sound movie projector, very, very old one, where I restored the amplifier on, and 35mm slides, which to this day is still in that room. House is boarded up. It's mostly vacation slides that I took, House Caverns, Luray Caverns, Nashville, Tennessee, different museums, Pennsylvania Dutch country, back in the 70s, when from the years 1970 to 1976 or 7, before I stopped going about 78, I believe it was. So that's the story there. So I'm not bringing these to the ham auction because they're not going to go. I could mail them out to somebody if anybody's interested in them, but again, anything I do like that, you will have to pay the postage, because I have to go to the trouble of packing it up and everything else. It's not so much me running to the post office and doing it. The post office isn't too far from me. The problem is I got to find a box to put them in, and I got to pack them up. That takes time, you know, and but packing tape and so forth. Because when I pack things up, I pack them really good so they don't get damaged. So that's the story there. Okay, I think I'm recording. I cannot see the monitor where that is on the camera. All right, here's an example. Your Coltronics book does not list 6K8, so you got to go by the roll chart. All right, 6K6, and then it jumps to 6K11. Okay, so there is no 6K8, so we can add that. 6K8, not listed. So, I'm going to dig out this one. If it's not in here, then we use the roll chart. And that's all we can do. This is one of the reasons why I like this tube tester. But my favorite tester to use is the B&K 606, but it won't test the old tubes, these type of tubes, which is understandable. So one of these days I'm going to get a Hickok if I have to save up 5 years, and I'll be dead before then, for it. And it's easier said than done. So let me stop this recording again, because I'll be here all day looking this up. Alright, I'm going to end this video. So, not a bad tester. I'm happy with it, but the problem with these setup books here is they don't list the tubes, all the tubes, especially the older ones. Even with the obsolete list, it's not even on that. There's an obsolete list here, but not on there. So, like the 25L6, it's not on these, either one of these books here. So good old roll chart is what they have to refer to. Alright, so this is the knob here. See this? It's slipping on the shaft. See it? The screw is buggered up so bad I can't even get it out. That's the way it was when I got it. It's rusted in there. I would have to literally destroy this knob. I'd have to saw it in half and break it off. The switch works perfectly. So when you turn it all the way to the right, it locks in at the 4th position. So you got to count over, because when you start counting over, it turns perfectly. All right. So if you go easy with it, it won't slip on the shaft. You can't tighten it. You can't loosen it. You can't do anything with it. See, now I want to turn it, it's all the way to the right. See, it's slipping on the shaft. So it's all the way to the right. So you got to turn it hard to the right so it binds in there, then it'll go normally. So if this becomes a problem where it's going to spin completely around, I'll have no choice but to saw it down the middle and break it off. I'm not even going to attempt to drill out the screw, because I'll destroy the knob anyways. So that's the only issue with this, as far as the tester itself is concerned. Alright, I'm going to end this video here. I think we're going to end all the series with the tube testing. I'm going to do all this stuff offline. I don't know what a 7695 is. Look it up in the tube manual, but I really don't know if it's compatible with a standard tube of a familiar number. That I do not know. But I'm going to end this video. I'm going to put the tube testers away. I got to get that Emerson on the bench, and that's going to be the next thing. I got to do that. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm doing the best I can with my videoing here. So I try to explain things as best I can. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.